So you're a web designer and you're earning good money and now you want to reduce your tax bill. Great, you're in the right place. I will preface this by saying I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an accountant, this is not financial advice, but these are some of the things that I personally claim back on my tax bill every year as a web designer that has helped me to cut my tax bill massively. And now I have a few notes here, but basically I work with an accounting firm who helped me do this. So if I was you, I wouldn't try and put all of this through on your own. I would hire a tax professional who, again, can talk you through this. But I used to find it quite useful when I had another accountant to bring ideas to them, because you'll have two types of accountant. One is passive, which is a lot of accountants, and then the other is more engaged. So with the passive accountant, they will just file your documents. They won't look to, actively save you money. They will just make sure everything is in order. Then you've got, the active accountant, the one who's actively trying to save you a percent here or a percent there. Oh, have you thought of putting this through or whatever? That's who I have now. But it helped when I had a passive accountant who, admittedly was cheaper, to bring these ideas to them and say, hey, I'm looking at putting this on the business card, purchasing this through the business. What do you think? And then it kind of spurs them into action. So if you have someone who's on the passive side, this may be good to bring to them. And if you have who you think is more of an active accountant and they haven't yet sort of asked for this sort of thing, or they haven't broached that subject, then again, bring it to them and say, hey, can we save, thousands of dollars of tax? So before we get into the 7 tax write-offs that I utilize, I'll just give you a quick background to who I am or what I do. So my name is Sam Crawford. I'm a web designer. I build websites all day, every day on Squarespace. And my company does very well. I mean, we're closing in on about $500,000 a year at the moment, looking to scale that massively into 2025. Now, when I started sort of climbing through the earnings brackets or the tax brackets, it dawned on me that, okay, Sam, you're going to have to start paying a ton more tax than you've ever been used to. Because before I got into this space, I was just employed. So it was, I worked in a tourist information centre and I would earn a wage and the tax would be taken out and I wouldn't have to worry. Then I went freelance and I was, in the UK, it's called a sole trader. So that's when you're not a business, you're just basically a one-person contractor, or just a contractor, I guess. And so once you get to, I want to say £80,000, could be, give or take a few £1,000s. But once you get to that rate, you start to pay 40% tax on everything that you earn, which is just an insane amount of tax to pay. So then I became a limited company, set up a limited company, which automatically reduces that percentage down to, I think it's a flat 25% on all profits. That's like the first thing any person or any like freelancer, web designer, whatever, earning over a certain amount needs to do is go and become a limited company, or in the US it'll be an LLC. That immediately gives you an LLC is a limited liability company. Someone can fact check me if that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it means. And essentially it means if a client was to sue you or chase something from you, they have no ability to get your personal assets. So it all goes through the business. Whereas if you are a sole trader, you are personally liable for everything. So they could, if you owed somebody money or they weren't happy with the product and tried to get their money back, they could take your house, your car, the clothes off your back. You don't know how deep it goes. So that's a great starting place. Now, that's who I am. That's what I do. That's a tidbit in terms of setting up your foundations first. You should be looking to become a limited company or LLC as fast as possible. Now it's time to hop into 7 really effective tax write-offs that I use. So kicking us off at number 1, this is for every web designer ever. This is your website hosting costs or your website maintenance costs. So this will be your domain, whoever you pay for that, your registrar, it's like $20 a year. But then you've got your website hosting, which could be anywhere between about $100 and $500 a year. Then you've got things like your professional email from Google or Microsoft or whoever. Then you may have video hosting, you may have additional cloud storage. All of this that goes into keeping your web presence online, that's completely tax deductible. So that's like the clearest cut one that you can possibly get. You are a web designer, you need a website, you can claim for yours and your clients. If you pay for your client's web hosting and they pay you a maintenance, then you can claim theirs as well. So make sure anything related to your website, keeping it online, helping it thrive, even marketing the website, if you pay for ads like Google ads or whatever it is, you can claim that as well. So that sets us up. That's a really easy one. Now, number 2 is going to be your phone. So I have a iPhone 13 Pro something, I don't know, iPhone something. And basically you can claim, it's a percentage. You're not going to be able to claim 100% of your phone as a business expense because, there is a personal use aspect to it. So I think my previous accountant told me that it's something to do with fair usage. So, you estimate the amount of time that you spend on that phone for business. So personally, I use my phone, I would say, about 75% business. I don't really go on it that much for pleasure. It's either WhatsApping clients, emailing clients, creating Instagram content, which we'll come on to in a moment, sending invoices, pretty much it. And then sometimes I'll text family and friends or look at the football scores. That's about it. So you can claim the cost of the phone and the cost of the phone contract. If you buy your phone outright and then have a mobile service provider separately, or what a lot of people do is they buy it through the service provider and they just pay a slightly higher monthly fee. You can claim a percentage of that as well. So a lot of people think, you need a business phone to be able to claim. No, you can claim a percentage of the costs for your mobile. And as I'm going to say throughout this video, I'm not an accountant. These are just the things that my accountant has told me and we've submitted in our accounts over the years in the UK. It might be different in the US, might be different in Canada, might be different wherever, but these are web design business essential tax write-offs for me. Now, number 3 is your laptop. Obviously, that goes for, or computer, I should say. It can be your laptop. It can be, it could even be an iPad. It can be, I have a huge screen here. You can kind of see the reflection. It goes like super wide. You can have your keyboard. You can have your mouse or your trackpad. You can have anything associated with the microphone, anything associated with the computer itself. So I have the Apple MacBook Air, I think there. Then we've got a stand. Then we've got the monitor, mic, keyboard, trackpad. I've got a leather mat on the desk. I think that's it. But essentially, if you're a web designer, you need your computer. You can't do the job otherwise. So that's 100%. I'm pretty sure it's 100% tax deductible. Because if I wasn't a web designer, I sure as hell wouldn't have a computer. Now, and I certainly wouldn't have the size of monitor that I do. So that is a complete tax deductible expense. Make sure that, you are getting, I would say, a newer model every couple of years, every 3 years. If you're doing well enough in business that you are concerned about reducing your tax, then it stands to reason that you probably are, up there in terms of top of your game. You want the best equipment at all times to keep you at the top of the game, keep you rising. What I do is I will sell my previous generation. So let's say I sell this MacBook. It's a M2 chip. I'll sell that, maybe get $500, $600, put that towards the new one, 100% tax deductible, great. Now, for you, it may not be 100%, it could be a percentage. Have a chat with your accountant about that. But weirdly, this is something people don't even think of. You think it was the most glaringly obvious thing, and yet some people don't think about it. And now that I'm thinking about that, I just want to add another quick one in, which is education. So I didn't have this on the list, and it's going to sound like I'm just inserting because I have a course, which I am. But if you want to go to, let's say, an in-person mastermind or take an online course on what course platforms are there? Oh, there's a really popular one out there. I'm going to have to look it up. Course platforms. I think Udemy and Teachable. Udemy and Teachable. There's loads of courses you can take. So web design, business, graphic design, whatever. If you take an educational course or go to an educational event or a networking event, all of that can be claimed as a tax deductible expense. So just really quickly, for those of you who don't know, I have a course called Six Figure Design Club where I take web designers from wherever they are right now to six figures in less than a year. All that to say, I've had students who've bought the course and just didn't even think that it was a tax deductible expense. They just bought in. And one person asked me, he was like, could I expense this? And I was like, yeah, like you can expense education within your field 100%. And then I told everyone and they all saved money on their tax bill. So I'm just inserting that quickly. I'm not going to count it in the title of 8. But if you feel like you need to invest in whatever it is, a networking group, a members club, whatever it is, if you can justify that education furthers your business or that membership furthers your business, then you can make the case. The membership clubs, you have to make the case of like, this is for business. The education is 100% for the business. So that's that one. Now, what are we on? 3? 1, 2, 3, no, 4. Office chair. So I'll quickly show you this. Don't know if you can still hear me. Should be able to hear me. This is a Herman Miller, I want to say Aeron something. I think it might just be called a Herman Miller Aeron. Now, this was probably one of the best investments I've ever made. It was £1,200, which is a ridiculous sum to pay for a chair. But you sit in it and you realise why. People call it the Rolls Royce of office chairs, and it is just amazing. Like, it feels like you're suspended in midair because the bottom of it. I'll show you again. Any excuse to stand up. So I wonder if. Okay, go back and pause the video so you can see the bottom of that. But essentially, there's no cushion. It's like really tightly woven material that like lets you sit for hours, like 12 hours. I could sit here pain free. It's got great lumbar support. There's no Herman Miller like Amazon plug here, but this video almost doubles up as a things you should invest in / tax write-offs video, because this is 100% tax deductible. It is office equipment. I wouldn't have it if it wasn't to further the business. And it has allowed me to just sit and concentrate and record these videos for hours, work for hours, go on client calls for hours, because it's that comfortable, it's that good. I would recommend anyone to get these, and you can get them I don't know why I didn't get mine refurbished, but you can buy them refurbished for like $600, whereas the new one costs double that. That said, I put mine on a finance plan because I was like, I'm not going to pay $1,200 upfront for a chair. It's just too hard to swallow. So I paid, it was like £120 a month, which, is what it is. Best decision I ever made. So office equipment in general, but office chair, in my notes, I've got Herman Miller, because if you're going to get a good office chair, get one of these. But honestly, you will thank me. You can comment below after 3 months when your back pain's gone and you've been able to sit and concentrate for hours, and you'll say, thanks, Sam. So yeah, you can run that through your expenses, no problem. If we want to do other office equipment, then I've got a light up here, being through the mic. A really niche one is, I don't know if you can see this, I have a magnetic pen and a note, like it's not a notebook, it's kind of like a open notepad, jotter, I don't know what you'd call it. But basically, when I'm on a call with a client, and I have a AI note taker, but I can just pick up the pen, I slide the top off, it goes on magnetically, so it just sits there, and then I can just sit there, it's just right next to my hand, and I can sit and write notes. And just small things I need to jot down as I'm, chatting to the client, blah, 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 blah. I can rip it off, put the notes on the other side, and usually I'm back to back with calls. So then I can do some more notes, rip it off, stack it. And then at the end of my call block, which is like 5 hours a day, I can go back through, sort of collaborate that with, or collate that with the notes that I've made or the AI has made. And then I can either send a proposal to a client or update the team or whatever it is. And that's a really small thing, but it's been really effective for me. And obviously that's 100% tax deductible. Behind me, I wonder if I can spin the camera around. Let's see. You can see we've got, there we go, headphones, tax deductible, a DJI Osmo. I realised I had to put the microphone up here. There's a DJI Osmo camera. What else have we got? I don't know if you can see. I think that's about it actually. But you can have these clip-on. Don't really know what you'd call that. That's a close-up and a half, isn't it? Try that again. It's like a pegboard. It's for tools, basically. But I use it to hang all my equipment on, so it's just there. I can grab it really quickly, and it just makes life way easier. You saw the light. What else have we got? We've got the whiteboard behind me, tax deductible. You've got shelves, tax deductible. And you can't even see the light. I've got a light over there, that's tax deductible. Yeah, that's all office equipment. If you can justify it to the taxman, then it's tax deductible. And anything that goes in your office and serves a purpose towards the business, I would be claiming it, and I do claim it. Next is a camera. So this is such an essential. This camera sits on top of my screen, and what that does is when I hop on a call with a client, they go, whoa, like, I feel like I'm on a the amount of clients that go, oh, I feel like I'm on a podcast, because I come on with this really professional looking camera. It's, in 4K, this video is in 4K, but I think when it's on a webcam, it's maybe 1080p, possibly. But they go, oh, that's so professional. And just that small undertone, it just permeates through the whole call, where they're thinking, this guy's like a step above. And so when I come in with a $20,000 proposal, they go, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Look at the setup. He's got the mic, he's got the camera. It's just a small advantage wherever you can get it. So if you're a web designer, you don't have to create content. But if you have a really professional camera as a webcam, then that's going to help you land better clients, because when you come on the call, you'll be able to charge higher fees. I know that sounds crazy, but it has worked firsthand for me. And so I do that, and then I also do all the YouTube videos. So I would recommend that you create some form of educational content, lead generation content for YouTube, because it's going to net you so much more work. And, this becomes 100%, I think it's 100% tax deductible anyway, just if you want to use it as a webcam, because if it wasn't for the business, you would not buy it. It's got to be wholly and exclusively for the business. And that's how you justify for tax. Next up, we've got travel. So travel is, your Ubers, your trains. I won't say car. I'll come on to the car in a moment, because that's completely different depending on what type of car you get and where you are in the world. So trains, planes, not automobiles, trains, planes, Ubers, taxis, as long as you're going on a business trip, then you can claim it. So if you need to get Ubers between meetings, if you need to hop on the train to go meet a client, whatever it is, that goes into your tax or into your expenses. Now, with a car, it's difficult. So in the UK, if you buy an electric car, I'm pretty sure that's 100% tax deductible for the cost of the car, but not any of the associated costs like insurance or filling up the car with electricity, or maybe there's tax. I don't know if there's road tax on electric cars, but basically, it works okay for that. You can claim the lease price, or if you buy it in full, you can claim the full price of your tax bills, like 50k for a Tesla or something. Or you can buy, it's like a ICE, so an internal combustion engine car. That you'd be able to pay something towards it, but then you have to pay something called benefit in kind tax, and the benefit in kind could end up costing more than the car itself. So basically, all that to say, if you're going to get a car through the business, like pay for it with your business card, get an electric car. If you get anything else, it's a waste of money and you should do it through your personal account. If I was trying to lower my tax bill, I wouldn't get a car to do it. I would do everything else that we've been through. So that's just something to think about with your travel expenses. Hotels, it comes under travel. If the rule is, to my knowledge, if you have at least one meeting whilst you're away, then that's a business trip. Supposedly, again, not a financial advisor, but that is what I've been told. Finally, we've got rent. So rent, again, this is UK centric, but I'm sure it's broadly similar in other places. You can claim a percentage of your rent. Can't do it with mortgages. So if you buy your home, then you can't do this, again, to my knowledge. But with rent, you can, basically the proportion of the apartment or the house that you rent that you use for work, you can claim that from your tax bill. So we currently pay £2,000 per month for our rent. It's a 3-bedroom apartment, and so I can claim, I think it goes bedrooms plus living space or living room. So I'm pretty sure I claim about 25% of the rent on my expenses, because this is my place of work. If you have, let's say, a studio apartment or a 1-bed apartment, it's again roughly a third. So I think you'll get to a point where the highest is about 33% that you can claim without raising some alarms. Because if someone's trying to claim, 40, 50% plus, then I just don't think that's possible. But what's nice is you can get a nicer apartment and claim 25. It's like a 25% discount. That's the way I see it. So we're moving to London in January. My rent is going up to £4,000 a month. But I know, okay, well, I'll be able to claim 1,000-ish off that every month, which comes to what, 12k a year in a tax deduction for moving to a much nicer area, much nicer place. Everyone's a winner. So check that with your local tax authorities, obviously, but I know that to be, well, I can't say with 100% conviction, obviously, because I'm not qualified to do so, but that's what I do. So those are 7, we'll call it 7.5. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, plus the mini plug for my course. But seriously, education should be one of the biggest investments you make, regardless of what industry you're in. So hopefully that's some food for thought. Take this to your financial advisor, take this to your accountant and say, hey, is this feasible? Can it save me X amount on taxes? If so, great. Let's put the receipts through. Let's run it all through. Amazing. Hopefully that helped. If it did, please make sure to leave a like and hit subscribe. And if you do want to invest in some education, check out the links below. There's an application form for the program there.